I couldn't stand you. I despised you actually when I first met you. From the moment I opened the door at Service Merchandise.
I had no idea. I mean, I knew there were extraordinary circumstances, but I didn't think it was directed at me.
Yep, it was. So welcome to the Aisle Files, both sides, where we unpack cases, stories from weddings that we photographed, relationships that we've witnessed.
Yes.
For the last 30 plus years, we have been photographing weddings,
Wow.
telling stories through our lenses, witnessing stories. A lot of observations. You're
True.
more kind of the psychology.
I'm an observer.
You are an observer. I love human behavior. I love to observe human behavior, but I do it from a different perspective, I think.
I think
you.
so.
So, yeah. So we decided to start a podcast.
What's your name?
Leslie.
Yes, and
that's
I'm
right.
Bill.
Yeah, I do have to introduce myself.
Yeah.
That'll be a thing we'll probably start with.
Oh, how rude.
I'm Leslie, and
I am William.
you want to be William?
Or Bill, or Will.
Or Willie?
Or Billy.
Billy. Yeah,
Yeah, all of them work.
So we started this podcast to, like I said, unpack these stories and case files from the aisle. And yet not about weddings. It's not a tell-all about weddings.
No.
It is observing from our unique perspectives over 1,500 weddings and knowing that there's really no one indicator that makes makes a marriage last, be on the upside of the 50-50. And yet there are telltale signs of how people do deal with the unexpected.
True.
And how they communicate and what can keep a relationship, strong. Because when I met you,
yes.
I hated you. I
really had I didn't have any
word.
clue. I mean,
yeah.
Like I alluded to earlier, I knew that, there were some things going on, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess I was.
Well,
because I transplanted I lived in Massachusetts my entire life. Ended up in Florida on a job transfer. When you're living there, everyone in the service industry that you run into assumes that you're a tourist.
Yeah.
So it's complicated to get your feet wet and get comfortable there because everybody thinks that you're there for a week and you're leaving. And it's like, no, I live here.
So you got transferred from Boston to Orlando. And that's kind of how we're going to unpack the first file. We are the first file. We chose to tell our story and how we met because it was not it certainly was not love at first sight.
It's atypical.
It is atypical. And yet 36 years later, we are happily married.
I try to get rid of you, but
I know.
I can't.
I know, but I love you so much.
Yes, love.
So I think that being in the wedding bubble, the love bubble of witnessing weddings every weekend and seeing that, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, 1,500 exactly, weddings unfold in front of us has given us such a unique perspective. And our case file is going to be how we met. And we gave you a little teaser because, spoiler alert, I ended up marrying him. So I didn't hate him. I didn't actually hate him. So here's what happened. We're going to start from the beginning.
Okay.
I was working as an assistant jewelry manager for Service Merchandise. And if you don't know that company, you must be 20.
It was a pioneer.
It was. And so it was a catalog showroom, but they were known for, and their profit center was their fine jewelry.
Correct.
And having the title of jewelry manager in a big department
was rather prestigious.
Paid very well. I was very young. I was in my 20s, early 20s. And I worked in retail. That's all I knew. I considered myself quite a young managerial, retail.
Well, you can sell ice cubes to Eskimos.
Correct.
There's no doubt about that.
So I worked in Orlando area for my manager was down. I witnessed this. I witnessed a nervous breakdown happen in front of me on the floor with customers and everything. Ambulance came, took him away.
Tragic.
It was that as soon as the ambulance, everyone left, there were customers. I had to take care of these people. And the regional manager, because we were the regional office, came up to me and said, we're going to go ahead and give you this position. You work really hard. You do a great job. And you just consider yourself the jewelry manager through the holidays, and we'll take care of this in January and give me.
I feel like there's a story here.
Give me the promotion. And I was so excited. I mean, I was probably the youngest jewelry manager in service merchandise at the time.
Probably would have been.
Could have been the youngest woman. So anyway, I was so thrilled and willing to work my tail off in hours and never go home. And as a matter of fact, at the same time, the jewelry receiver was out for a surgery.
Yes.
And this was during the holidays. And this was the busiest job in the jewelry department.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very, you had to be high security, clearance, because you're taking in these diamonds and jewelry worth hundreds of thousands of millions, sometimes, of dollars. And that person had to be very trustworthy. So the only person that had that security clearance was me. And so I was the jewelry manager and the jewelry receiver. Duty. Yeah. And I did all of this willingly. My friends, a couple of my roommates worked for me, and they were helpful in everything. So they were so proud of me. I was proud of me. Everyone was proud of me. And then one day, because I carried the keys to the store, because this was not just the district manager or district office, it was the regional offices. So although we had a catalog showroom, we had jewelry department, it was a big store, way back in the back were offices. And this is where the district manager and the regional managers would meet, and from all over, because there were hundreds of stores.
And that's a pressure cooker of an environment, because
everybody had to be on there.
You're getting inspected almost
every day,
a daily basis.
As opposed to once a month or something. So I was making sure that, because I knew I was being watched.
Yes.
And I was going to make sure that I was going to, impress them, the best jewelry manager they've ever seen. And I had the keys to the store, and the key ring was huge. It probably weighed 5 pounds.
I remember the key ring.
It was a big ring.
It was hefty.
I remember hearing a tap, tap, tap on the front door.
Who could that have been?
And I look over, and there was a guy in a suit. So my thought initially was, oh crap, I didn't know there was someone else coming, because usually other suits would come and meet with our regional manager, whose name was.
So you didn't think
John Bond.
Who is that handsome guy at the door?
Wasn't my first thought. It was like, oh crap, I missed a memo. I don't know who this person is. I should know.
At least you're being honest.
Because I want to greet them with the right professionalism, because keep in mind, I was making sure I was being, all my I's were dotted and my T's were crossed. So I went to the door, and I thought that, I missed a memo, and I opened the door and I said, hello. And you said,
hi.
I'm your new jewelry manager.
I am your new jewelry manager.
And I'm here to see John Bond.
And then there was there was an icy.
Like I don't know what my face looked like, but
transition.
It froze. And I said, are you sure you're at the right store?
I remember that.
You knew the store. You said, yeah, it's Castleberry 176.
Oh.
And I said, and John Bond is expecting you? Now, John Bond, just a little side note, looked like James Bond, dressed like him, had the same aura of him.
That was immaculate.
He was immaculate. And he was usually what I thought was very
consummate professional.
That's what I thought.
Except for that one little thing.
So I immediately, when I heard I'm your new jewelry manager and I'm at the right store and I'm here to see John Bond, I was like, what is going on? Like, what the hell is going on? So I said, let's go. Follow me. And we traipsed back to the back of the store to the offices, and I opened Mr. Bond's office door. Usually I would knock, but this one was a little bit more like I didn't care. And he had this unusually big.
The desk was
giant desk,
enormous.
It was so regal, like it was something it should be in.
Very presidential.
And I said, William Emmons is here.
That's
And
me.
he just like was jarred. He didn't know what to do. He was uncharacteristically thrown off his game.
Which is
And
rare. He was very composed man.
He was. And he said, "Oh, you weren't supposed to be here till tomorrow." And I immediately clapped back with, "So that's when you were going to tell me he took my job?"
Ooh.
And I had this overwhelming anger and
very hostile.
Oh, I was so upset. I realized I'd been screwed over, lied to, used and abused. And then some guy shows up with my job.
And I'm having to figure all of this out on the fly because I don't know.
And I found out you were from Boston, which didn't help, by the way.
It's the place to be from.
I was like, "What? Who is this cocky person?"
Do I have an accent?
Not really.
Only when I drive.
No, yeah, that is
one hand on the wheel and one out the window.
We're not going to make everyone want to tune out here. So anyway, I tossed the keys, and it was such a polished desk.
I think you kind of threw them.
That when I think I gave it a little too much elbow grease.
Yeah, it kind of threw them.
And it went swoosh down the table and into his chest, which kind of pushed him back a little bit. And
in more ways than one.
I realized that was a little violent.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the best thing I could have done.
Now I'm fully aware that there's
but I was
doo-doo hitting the
really
fan.
mad. And I said at the same time that happened, I'm going to go home for the day. And I left. What happened after that? Do you
Well, there was
Did he
I had to have things explained to me. I had questions because
Did he tell you what happened?
Well,
What did he
generally.
Did he say
there was
we promised her the job and then we gave it to you?
There was a sort of a passing of the buck that there was a miscommunication, and I was supposed to start at a different store, and that situation changed at the last moment, so I had to start in Castleberry, and
this poor girl is just going to have to deal with it.
She's just going to have to,
Okay, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's kind of how I thought it went. So, so anyway, I despised you. I completely blamed you and them. Like there wasn't a, oh, poor Bill, he's
and I'm kind of oblivious to that because it's complicated. I've never been out of Massachusetts. Been there my whole life. Show up in Florida, and there's this drama.
Yeah, I was.
But I
made it pretty bad.
I didn't feel like I was a part of that because I didn't make any of those decisions.
Correct, but I couldn't see. See, I was so blinded by anger and being. I was a female. There was this whole I've just been passed over by a man. There was a whole lot to unpack there. And I was lied to. They lied to me. So I took it out on you, didn't I? Well,
I would say so.
I really made...
You didn't hit me with keys, but you did about everything else.
So we worked kind of opposite schedules. And I had my team. I had my employees that I had done most of the hiring. Some of them were my roommates.
And they were
my besties.
All loyal to you.
And they loved me. And I did not love you.
I got a zero level of...
So I thought that it was just going to be an easy thing. That they were going to... just make your life miserable I was, and you would just not want to work there. And you would leave, and I would get my job back.
There was
maybe that's what I wanted.
Yeah, no, it was apparent to me that there was people were being as
in the beginning
uncooperative as they dared.
Yeah, I was revolting.
Civil disobedience.
It was a dissent. So
I would say.
So that went on for a month or so, I guess.
I feel like it was a little longer than that.
I knew, well, maybe, but not really. I don't know. But anyway, you were displaced. You had just come down. You had come out of a really nasty kind of situation.
We can be completely honest about
relationship.
That. Very difficult relationship.
So little sticky situations. So you lived in a hotel, like month to month or whatever, and it was near where I lived. I know that, but other than that, I knew nothing, and I really had no real true compassion for you in the beginning.
None.
But I started because I'm not that way. That wasn't me. I started realizing the real fault lied with the management, and it was not really your fault. And I did notice that all my staff loved you.
Won them
I was
over.
feeling a little bit left out.
It's the comedy routines.
Yeah,
Works every time.
they did think you were funny. They thought
Mm-hmm.
that you were like a good person, and
It was
I
everything.
hated you. Like, I mean, they knew
Super
I hated
intelligent,
you.
very
Yeah,
handsome.
you were.
Oh, all
Yeah,
of it.
you were all that, but I couldn't see it at the time. So here's what happened. Because I always dated rock and roll singers, long hair bands, 80s. That was my thing.
She's not
You were
kidding. It was like
yeah.
a musician after musician.
Yeah. But
A
Keely and
groupie.
my sister and I would go dancing, and then, we it wasn't really bad. I mean, we just happened to catch their fancy. Yeah.
I wonder what.
So
how'd you do that?
I went down a lot of dead ends with rock and roll men, and got my heart broken a lot. But you were definitely not my type either. Wow. So, to make a long story longer.
No, shorter.
I'm trying. There's a lot to unpack, but basically I started having a little bit of compassion for you. I felt bad. I knew that you had uprooted your life from Boston to Orlando, Florida, and you knew no one. And we had a really tight little department. We would, when we would close up at 9 o'clock or 9:30, by the time we got out of there, we would go to play darts or go to Red Robin for food.
Yes.
And we had fun together. So I knew that I just kind of felt bad. We were all leaving and say goodbye, and you would leave and go home and be alone.
Just a sad,
in
pitiful,
a hotel.
lonely
It was really
existence.
sad. It was really pitiful. So one night I decided to have a little bit of
alcohol.
Our errors aside. No, I just said I invited you out.
You
to
did.
Darts.
You did.
So we played darts.
But in a sad, pathetic way, like.
You
come
can
with
come
us.
too.
Don't be lonely.
You can come too.
Don't be lonely, Bill.
And everybody else was, yes, bring him. Yes, you should come. And I was just trying to be
and I'd never
more
thrown
like
a
myself.
dart in my life.
Correct. And this was electronic darts, and it was pretty serious. We were all very serious.
There was
about
a lot.
It.
There was a lot.
We all had
riding
our
on
own
the line.
electronic dart set, and yeah, it was totally, for sure, a cool thing. And I had the best set. Like, I really invested in I had a little case, and it was gold, and it was, they were gold
professional.
So I said you could borrow mine.
Yes.
So we would, because you said you couldn't go because you didn't have any, and I was like,
No
I'll
darts.
let you borrow mine. We decided to meet at the little pub in Orlando by UCF. It was the moment that changed everything.
It was.
It was time. I had done my little dart set, and it was time for you to go up, and I needed to pass you my darts.
Correct.
And I can tell you this, when I put my hand out with my darts, you put your hand on my hand, and there's the way that you dragged your hand across my hand to get the darts, and you sort of held it there for a little bit, and we locked eyes, and at the same time you were touching my hand and we were locking eyes, I literally shifted to, you were all I could think about from that moment on. That night when we were still playing darts, I was like, everyone could see it. I felt like everyone could see it, and I was just glowing. From that moment, I think I fell in love with you.
How about that?
And I hated you at the same time. It was a real it's a tricky situation.
I remember.
Do you remember that moment?
I do. And yeah, there was an electricity, a spark.
It was. You felt it too.
I did.
So after that, it didn't take long before, we were at work and we were crushing on each other, but we weren't talking about it.
No, we couldn't.
We couldn't talk about it. We could have, but we wouldn't, because it was illegal to date in service merchandise. Correct. The two managers, if we got together and we were going to do bad things like steal, we could have covered for each other or whatever why ever they had that law. that rule, that policy.
Yes.
So we were trying to, but I don't think at that time we were still we weren't even aware that we were crushing on it. I mean, we knew there was something, but we had not talked about it.
No, I don't think we were.
And then
at that.
You showed up at my door.
Wow.
I heard knock, knock, knock. I opened the door. There you are with roses and chocolate.
Oof, roll of the dice. See how this goes.
Yep. And I was shocked, but yeah.
Me too. That's not like
so
me.
not like you. I mean, I look back at it now, and you were right out of your comfort zone. But it just made it solidified it. We had our first kiss. It was a peck.
It was a peck because
it wasn't even a long.
I have to protect myself just in case there's going to be a rejection.
You came, and then you said, "I gotta go," and you walked down the sidewalk, and I was like,
"Oh, it's a done deal by that point."
What just happened? So, my whole world perspective changed of who you were, who I was,
sure,
who we were. My job, everything was like nothing mattered except when was I going to get to see you again?
Well, I mean, you got shafted.
I did, but
and so that jaded your opinion about.
But I could have handled it with a little bit more grace. However, now we're trying to see each other and sneak off after work and go to little seedy places.
And that's not
just
good.
To talk.
This wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
You were good.
I was fine.
And you were good for me because I was in a lot of turmoil, and you were very calming.
Yeah. Because I really thought you were. I mean, because I dated rock stars or whatever, long-haired hairband people. I liked the excitement. I liked the little bad boy kind of thing, and you were definitely not that. And what I realized was I was actually, the second that I saw you differently, I saw you as my husband. I saw you as the father of my children, possibly.
No pressure.
So there was all of this just different perspective. And from there, it quickly changed. I mean, everything changed.
It did happen fast.
People knew. And remember what changed how I left Service and Merchandise? We just a couple days after this happened, the roses and the chocolate visit, is the phone rang. There was no cell phones, and the phone rang in the department. You answered it, and I heard this conversation, and you were like, yeah, no. So, but here, let me have you talk to my assistant manager. I think this would be perfect for her.
Perfect.
And who was it that called?
It was a headhunter.
Yeah.
Back when that was a thing. And it was kismet because it was almost the only scenario that you could come up with that would have taken care of the employment situation and allowed us to stay together and continue to grow the relationship.
Right. So it was a headhunter, which is a person who calls around or recruits, tries to recruit someone,
specialist,
because they get paid when they find a good recruit for a company that's looking for a specific job. So now they do that on Indeed and all that stuff. But back then they were actual people that had to go and find people.
Correct.
So you were so kind to toss it to me.
I did.
It was the best job I ever had. Best company I ever worked for.
I was so jealous.
Except for my wedding photography business.
I was so jealous, but it was perfect because
I
think it was more of, that was a more female-oriented company.
Yeah, I ended up being a trainer for management. They would send me on these trips to Louisiana. They were housed out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
It was like, what the heck? You were
New
traveling.
Orleans. I went to Mardi Gras. I mean, they paid for my travel.
Your salary exploded. I was like, did I do the right
And my department was so small. It had like 7 cases instead of 90 some cases.
I felt like I had a football field length department. It was huge.
It was so not busy. It was just not, it was the coolest job. But that was our time when we were falling in love, and we
didn't
were
have to hide it.
we were no longer having to hide anything. And
which it turned out we weren't actually hiding anything from anybody.
Right,
they all had it figured out.
Yeah, they knew. And then we moved in together pretty quickly after that.
Yes.
Yeah. So once we moved in together, we it just was really fast. We got engaged
There's a story for you.
just 3 months after we were dating,
Hmm.
which, nobody thought we were going to make it.
This is also...
Nobody thought we were going to make it. Do you think? Who thought we were going to make it?
Nobody.
Nobody. They were all wrong.
Even my
Spoiler
mom, God
alert.
bless her, was like,
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you sure, William?
I think one of our favorite things when we meet with couples is that we love the
My
proposal
favorite.
stories.
That's my favorite
We
part.
always ask.
Because mine was an
We wanna
epic,
know.
epically mediocre. So
Yeah. I mean, it's cute and charming now. So we lived in Orlando, and he called me because we didn't have cell phones. And he called me and he said, I have a lunch hour. Can you meet me at Quincy's?
Quincy's.
Yeah, Quincy's.
Quincy's is a legendary
for those
Florida
of you that don't
eating
know
establishment.
What Quincy's is.
They were famous for one thing, and what
The
would that be?
big fat yeast rolls.
Yes.
So, yeah, the little dancing big fat yeast rolls. It was not romantic in any way. But at the end of our meal, I noticed that you were very fidgety and nervous, and I didn't understand it, but I did think that maybe because I was still working at Service Merchandise.
Yes. Well, I was suffering from fear of rejection. So
yeah, right.
there was always a chance.
I wouldn't have rejected you, honey.
Well,
so, but I was mean to you, so maybe you thought I was faking falling in love with you. So the moment happened at the end of the meal, and the waitress came over, and she had the tray with the the ceremonial silver lid, and when she opened it, she revealed the ring box.
It was a big reveal.
And it's still, because I'm in the jewelry business, it didn't dawn on me at that moment this was a proposal. It was just like, he bought me a ring? I mean, he bought me...
No, actually, she was thinking he bought me this mediocre lunch.
So, you didn't even reach for it or anything. She kind of hesitated. So I pulled it off the tray. So
no part of my body was working. My brain
no.
had shut off. My hands wouldn't move. I couldn't speak. Like I said, it was this was the big moment.
So
how was it going to go?
I gave it to you, and you opened it, and you were shaking, and you said something sweet.
It was sweet, like the yeast roll.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. And I said yes. And as soon as I said yes, the whole restaurant erupted in this amazing crowd cheering. I guess that they didn't expect to see.
They'd never seen anything like it.
Full-fledged proposal at Quincy's.
So I get an A for unusual.
Yes.
Unique.
Unique. So our meal had to be quick. We finished our meal, but the celebratory part of it had to be very quick because you had to get back to work.
Yes.
And I got in my car, excited as I could be, mesmerized by the most beautiful ring I've ever seen.
It was a beautiful ring.
And
well, it is.
It's just that it doesn't fit me right now. So I was driving on Orange Blossom Trail, a busy road in Orlando. The sun was bright and shiny. And when I was steering my car, I saw the sun hit my steering wheel and my ring, and it was just dancing these beautiful colors around the car. And bam! I hit the car in front of me. Rear-ended him. I did, because I was looking at my ring.
What a day.
So the guy gets out. He's kind of big and burly and mad. And then I looked at him and I was like, I'm so sorry. I just got engaged and I was looking at my ring and I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. And he's just looked at his car, looked at mine. Wasn't that much damage. And he said, just go on and pay attention to the road. And that was my engagement story.
We hear that a lot.
But then we planned a wedding, which is our next episode.
Yes.
Isn't it?
I think so.
Because I think that you would find it helpful to know that how our photography business started, how I became a photographer and then brought him on board. So he left Service Merchandise, and the stories that we've seen since, and all of, everything that came from what looked like a terrible relationship. I mean, we didn't look like we were going to make it, to 36 years later.
36.
We are seeing patterns. We're constantly seeing patterns from both newlyweds,
Yes.
planning their wedding.
There are commonalities.
Correct.
For sure.
And his perspective, I think your perspective from the psychology background that you have, and my love bubble, seeing things from choosing love over fear, changing being willing to see things differently, I think is, if everyone that would ask me, what is your best advice? How did you stay married for 36 years? I'll say, be willing to see things differently. Do not ever expect your spouse or anyone else on earth to make you happy. That is the key as far as I see it.
And you know what I say when people ask me?
What?
Earplugs.
Shh. He says I talk a lot. But I think this is a good way for us to talk about things, bring up these observations that we talk about.
Yes.
I think we started.
I mean, we've been at so many weddings that you really do see. You
see so much. You
see
the family dynamics.
For the good and the bad, there are patterns.
And you see things that are going exceedingly well, beyond anyone's expectations. And then you see things that didn't quite go as planned.
True.
And how people
deal with that,
how they deal with it, and being able to see people show up at a wedding at their best for one reason, and that's to celebrate love.
True.
I get to see it through, that's my comfort zone. I understand that people have troubles, but they are capable of putting them aside and not dwelling on them all the time. And this is the perfect place not to dwell on your problems.
Exactly.
And so when you're in that space, it lifts all the boats, right? It lifts everything to a different level. I mean, maybe when they go home, they go back into that, but that for a minute, for an hour, for a day, I think it changes you, and it changes us.
This energy, I think, it carries over longer than a day.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to explore in the upcoming episodes. There's a couple episodes outside of our wedding. It's not really going to be all about us. These two episodes, the first one and the second one, are about
how relevant.
We met and then how we became photographers.
They're relevant because
of our own wedding.
It explains how we shoot.
Exactly.
And how we interact.
What our why is.
And how we interact with everybody on a wedding day.
Yeah. We're going to share some little observation tricks that we've had, and where we've been wrong and where we've been correct. And also just maybe a little perspective on a 1-year married couple, a 5-year married couple, a 10-year, a 20, 30. We're going to be pushing 40 here. And how do we make it there? We have to be flexible. We have to be willing to not freak out over the flowers being the wrong color.
Right.
I use that as an analogy for a
wedding.
But
it's like that. The marriage is like that, because I used to freak out.
Right.
I want things to be
exactly
perfect.
As you plan.
Exactly as I plan. Okay. Of course.
What is the indicator is how willing are you to see things differently? And maybe you weren't your best self one day, 5 years later, one day. We're not all going to be our best selves,
right?
But we can remember who we are, why we're together. I think a marriage and a relationship in any way is the maximal opportunity for growth for two people.
That's the whole point of getting married, I think.
I think so. And I think that if you think you're already set and you don't need to grow anymore because you found your person, I think that might be who ends up in that nasty office of a divorce lawyer. And that's what we're here for, is to give you another perspective that gives you something else to look to and think about before the divorce lawyer comes into your life.
Right.
Because we don't want you to know one unless you are one, and that's how you make your living. But so I don't
that's
know.
Ironic. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Two divorce attorneys getting married to each other.
That would be a good story.
I wonder how that goes.
We want your stories.
Yes, stories.
Please submit your stories. This is going to help us, go deeper in our mission for the Aisle Files both sides, and how it can help relationships, whether you've been married 5 days, whether you're still engaged and you're planning your wedding, whether you're just dating and you want to get engaged, or whether you've been married for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years even. We want to hear what works, what doesn't. These are things that we can help you at least see from both sides of the aisle. What do you think? Call it a wrap?
Call it a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. We're excited for where this is going to go.
Yes, indeed. Send us your stories.
Send us your stories and tune in next time for the Aisle Files. Both sides.
Both sides.
Bye.